All right, let's get into it. Today, we're not just looking at a weapon. No, we are deconstructing a complete tactical doctrine. Think of this as the field manual for wielding the AWM, one of the most powerful and, let's be honest, most feared tools on the digital battlefield of Erangel. And wow, right from the jump, the tone is set. This is not about spray and pray, is it? We're talking about a demand for absolute, total perfection. It's a mindset where if you don't get that clean, one-shot elimination, you failed. Tactically. The stakes, they couldn't be higher. So, where do we begin? First things first, the alpha build. This is all about configuring the weapon for maximum lethality. See, before you even think about strategy or where you're going to set up, this doctrine says the tool itself has to be perfect. And this isn't about what you like or your personal preference. Nah, this is about building the AWM for one thing and one thing only, a single lethal purpose. Okay, so here's the build. And just look at this. Every single attachment choice is backed up by some cold, hard tactical logic. Take the suppressor. You might think, oh, it's just to be quiet. Nope. The doctrine calls it shadow work priority. It's about literally erasing your signature from the map. Then you've got the cheek pad, which follows the stability mandate. And that is absolutely crucial, for that long, steady breath you need to hold for those insane long-range shots. Every single piece has its job. So here's the main takeaway, right? This isn't just a random collection of the best attachments you could find. It's a complete system where everything works together. The suppressor erases your signature, keeping you hidden. The cheek pad gives you absolute stability. And that 8x scope, that's what lets you place that shot with surgical precision from like 600 meters out. Put them all together, and you've got the ultimate setup for patient, long-range work. All right, Section 2, the geometry of a kill. We're talking distance, angle, and zeroing. So you've got the perfect tool, right? But what good is it if you don't know how to use it? And this is where things get really fascinating, because mastering the AWM isn't really an art. It's pure science. It's all about physics, angles, and putting yourself in exactly the right spot. So what's the magic number? 400 to 600 meters. That's the optimal engagement distance. Now you might be asking, why that specific range? Well, it's a very calculated sweet spot. At that distance, you're getting the absolute most out of the AWM's power and velocity. But at the same time, you're so far away that most enemies, they just can't shoot back effectively. You literally own the fight before it even starts. Now let's talk about something called the zeroing doctrine. This is a real pro-level technique designed for those super high-pressure moments. The idea is you set your scope's baseline 0 to 300 meters. Why? Because it makes the mental math for those 400, 500, 600 meter shots so much simpler. You're not guessing as much. It makes aiming feel more intuitive so you can figure out the bullet drop way faster when the pressure is on. And here it is. This is the one thing that separates the AWM from literally every other gun in the game. You're looking at a level 3 helmet, right? That's the best protection you can get. Against any other rifle, that helmet gives you a fighting chance. But against the AWM, there is no chance. A one-shot solution guaranteed. This single fact is what the weapon's entire fearsome reputation is built on. But the doctrine is smart. It's adaptive. Check this out. If your target is standing still, the primary target is the head, specifically the ocular cavity, a guaranteed kill. But what if they're on the move? Well, the protocol changes. You shift your aim to the upper chest or the neck. Why? Because it gives you a bigger target, which just maximizes your chances of getting a kill, or at least a disabling hit, even if they're moving unpredictably. It's all about playing the odds to your advantage. Okay, part 3, Erangel Overwatch Doctrine, because as we're about to see, location is everything. So let's recap. We've got the perfect ear, we've got the scientifically precise technique, but guess what? Both of those are completely useless if you're not in a dominant position. So now we're moving from the how to the where, because on Erangel, your spot on the map, that's everything. So let's talk about a key concept, the superior oblique. This is just a fancy way of saying you have an angle from high ground that lets your shots plunge down. And this is why high ground is king. Think about it. An enemy hiding behind a rock feels totally safe from someone shooting at them on the same level, right? But from your high perch, you're firing down at them. That rock provides almost no cover. This angle is basically the geometric key that unlocks defenses that are supposed to be solid. And here's the thing, this doctrine doesn't just give you vague advice like find some high ground. No, it gets super specific. It names the single most optimal position on the entire map, the Stallbar Overlook OP. That's it. That's the spot. And the reasoning for choosing this spot? I mean, it's just flawless. From this one position, you can control the main rotation path for the whole central part of the map. You've got the maximum possible elevation for that deadly plunging fire we were talking about. You've got great hard cover and concealment, and, this is so important, you have a concealed escape route if things go south. It's basically a fortress designed for a single operator. But getting to the spot is just as important as the spot itself. The doctrine lays out a very specific procedure. Step 1, approach using bounding Overwatch, meaning you move carefully with team support. Step 2, you establish your observation post, or OP, about 5 to 10 meters back from the crest of the hill. That's key so you don't silhouette yourself against the sky. Step 3, absolute radio silence. And then step 4, you initiate shadow work. And that brings us to our final section, the one-shot solution and the philosophy of patience. This is where it all comes together. The gear, the geometry, the location, it all gets synthesized into one guiding philosophy. This is the mindset you need to have to be a true AWM operator. Remember that phrase, shadow work? This quote is the absolute core of it. Do not fire for volume, fire for high-value target elimination. See, an AWM operator doesn't just take random pot shots. No way. You wait, you watch, you practice extreme patience, just waiting for that one perfect moment. The moment you can take a single shot at a high-value target that completely shatters an enemy squad's leadership and morale, all in a split second. And the best part? They never even know where it came from. And there it is. That's the final command. It's the culmination of everything, all the prep, all the discipline, all that patience. When that one perfect moment finally comes, you don't think, you don't hesitate, you execute the one-shot solution. So this whole doctrine really leaves us with a fascinating question to chew on. In the digital battlefield, what's actually more powerful, the weapon itself or the doctrine behind it? The AWM is, without a doubt, a monster of a weapon. But as we've just seen, its true power is only unlocked by superior strategy, discipline, and knowledge. So it really makes you think, what's more important, the tool in your hands or the plan in your head?